Hello and welcome to the Rabyd Atheist. I'm Rabyd, a former pastor and turned atheist, now a compassionate anti-theist. Welcome to my channel. Like and share this video. Join the Rabyd Nation, a nation of people dedicated to normalizing deconversion and atheism, and by hitting that subscribe button. And if you want to support the channel in a more tangible way, hit the join button, and your membership options for citizenship in the Rabyd Nation will be presented to you. Today is end of the week, Rabyd Reflections on a Saturday, and I've really been struggling this week to have a real proper topic, I suppose, to talk about. And Saturdays tend to be me being more reflective on the week. And a lot of the things this week, and probably for many weeks now, what I have seen is just this typical atheist versus theist stuff, and there's a lot of common theist accusations against me and what I do. And so it's not that, the theists haven't given me something to work with here. It's just, it's not a lot to work with when I'm discussing something or countering something. But I've gotten a lot of the typical, you were never a Christian to begin with. That comes up a lot. I don't know, if I was a Christian for 40 years, I guess how can anybody then know whether they're a Christian or not? And how do you know you have the right Christianity or not? It's amazing how people will sit here and yell at me about engaging in logical fallacies, and yet the most common logical fallacy that a theist will use against me is no true Scotsman and ad hominem. I get this all the time, I had a guy basically accusing me of all this stuff, like as if I'm not going to see his comment and read it. It's like I'm not even in the room. He's just turning to the audience, everybody that's watching my stuff, and saying, I hope you realize this about this person. Talking about me. Like I'm not in the goddamn fucking room. And that pisses me off. Because it just shows how when theists accuse me of stuff, they will dehumanize me in their brain. And this is what I've been fighting against all this time is, because I start out, we are a channel here dedicated to the normalization of atheism and deconversion. And people always ask me, what need is that for that? It seems like atheists is being more accepted. Only because there's people like me out there kicking the living shit out of some of this stuff. Because I'm kind of upset today, I guess. Because over and over, what has been demonstrated and what's become scary to me is how much these people have to look down at me in order to maintain their Christianity, how they have to diminish my humanity in order to attack me. They can't, there's no reaching out with the compassion of Christ that way, I can tell you that. That's for damn sure. There's no understanding of love your enemies. There's no understanding of, all the things that Christians are supposed to do by their founder, and all the things that the supposed apostles in the New Testament yell at. But instead we get these common accusations. You were never a Christian to begin with. You're being incredulous. I'm like, no, I'm just well studied. Okay, I'm very confident in some of the things I believe, but at the same time, I always entertain this notion. It's the common things. Many times when I deal with like the problem of evil arguments, which has come up last couple weeks in various different forms and reactions and stuff, it's always, oh, well, you just couldn't reason your way past that. Exactly. Okay. I never had the faith to get past the problem of evil argument. No, I never had the reason, okay, the proper, mental gymnastics to get past the problem of evil argument. And I, unlike some, like he who will not be named, know and understand what the proper problem of evil argument was when I was a theist, and realize it was a very dangerous problem. And no amount of straw manning that or promoting the wrong argument will ever fix that. Being accused of not forming valid arguments during my videos, and it's like, well, how are they invalid? Oh, they never give me that. Okay, you're never told why the argument is invalid. Oh, you're just engaged in logical fallacies, and there's no validity here. If I haven't been on both sides of the Christian fence, I don't know who has. Okay, because it's always this no true Scotsman bullshit. And I've had one guy a long time ago try to get it. Well, it's not really the true Scot. And goes through this big, long diatribe, does a too long didn't read level comment about it. And I gets to the end and I'm like, well, here's the problem. I completely disagree with everything you said. If you're telling me I never was a true Christian, that straight up is a no true Scotsman because you're using true Christian in the statement. Okay, this whole notion, what is a true Christian? I always want theists to answer me that question. What in the hell is true Christianity? And what in the hell is being a true Christian? Give that to me. Tell me what that is. And inevitably, the no true Scotsman comes up all the time in some way, shape, or form. My arguments are logically fallacious, but they never demonstrate it. I just didn't have enough faith to get past my reason. Yeah, you're right. Okay, and nobody should. I could play this game tit for tat and go back and forth and talk about, well, how do you know what a true Christian is? But I think there's a legitimate question. I think, well, how do you get past all the logical fallacies for the arguments for the existence of God, because they are fallacious and good examples of logical fallacies? How is it that, you're dropping this comment on me, claiming to be a Christian and following your founder, Jesus Christ, when Jesus Christ never tells you to be insulting to your opponents, in fact, to love your enemies and do good to them that hate you? I'm going to tell you, that's one thing that theists that often comment on this channel obviously never read, because it's, I don't know what it is at a personal level with a lot of theists that they seem to think that they have to accuse me of something. And all I am doing is saying, this is the problem I have with your viewpoint. I had a comment just today, atheism makes everything random. And it's like, no. Okay, atheism just deals with one question. You make your claims that a God exists. I ask for evidence of these claims. You present that evidence, and I tell you why that evidence isn't convincing to me. And that makes me an atheist. That's not random at all. Okay, and it's this, have your cake and eat it too. Redeemed Zoomer does this in his videos, in my double reaction to him. It's like, on the one hand, you want to sit there and tell me that I just live in this deterministic universe. And then on the flip side, you want to say that we're, in evolution, we're all the product of this random chance bullshit. And my response is, you can't have it both ways. If the world is deterministic, if hard determinism is true, then there's nothing random about it. Okay. And if it's not true, then we're still not random because we're still dealing with natural laws and stuff. And it's like, but I'm the one that's an idiot. I'm the one that's engaged in logical fallacies. It's the accusations that are never proven. And most of the time, I want to agree with, Redeemed Zoomer about Reddit level theists. Okay, and Breakfast and Tacos did a video on another guy that I've been looking at and seeing whenever I want to react to him, and I was like, I don't know if I want to react to this guy. This guy doesn't make any arguments. Okay, he literally just talks. and talks and talks and talks and talks and talks and says nothing. As Daniel Dennett put it, he just does deepities, just makes these deep statements that sound profound, and when you really analyze them, they just don't say anything. And so that's kind of been my frustration for the last 2 weeks. I'd really like to come on here on a reflections day, on a Saturday reflections, and have something, meaningful to discuss. But all I've gotten is this, common theist accusation stuff. And it doesn't bother me other than this, because I have this terrible desire to just, every time, is that all you got? Is that really all you got? Is personal insults, attacking my character, attacking my knowledge, attacking this, accusing me of being motivated of just trying to get attention. Is that all you got? Something that none of you can actually know. Okay, you can't know if I was a Christian or not. You don't know what was in my brain all this time for 40 years. You can't know what my motivations are. You can't demonstrate that my logic is faulty, so you just accuse me of it. And all of you theists out there just continue in this vein. And I was watching a live stream, a live premiere, I think it was yesterday, and it's on this guy I was looking at. And I have a voiced theory now, because a lot of these apologist channels, it's like they're taking on a very cult leader mentality. It's why they have so many followers, because all they're doing is feeding people's confirmation bias. And so they get all these deep, they engage in all these deepities. They don't really think about what they're talking about. They give very fallacious arguments, but it doesn't matter, because either the person's charisma is high or they feed into confirmation bias so hard that people just gravitate to them because they want to believe so badly that they follow up with it. And it's kind of scary. People ask me, do you ever think that the mission of this channel will be fulfilled? And it's like, no. Religion is always going to be with me for the rest of my life. It's just, I would like to see some progress. I would like to see some of the poll numbers shift. I often use this one. When the poll number shifts, when somebody asks, you hear a family member is getting married to somebody, would you rather have them marry a fundamentalist Christian or an atheist? When that poll number starts to shift to a more even balance, like, well, it doesn't really matter, are they a good person? Because I can understand why somebody would become an atheist. And treat me with the same level of respect as any other belief system. When that happens, or starts to head that way, I know, okay, me and many others who are trying to do the same thing are starting to be successful. But I'm always going to be in front of this microphone as long as I can, doing this work, because I just don't see, because the wishful thinking that all these people have of living forever and having this big God of the universe that created all these things, and how massively mind-blowingly huge the universe is, and somehow he did it all just so he can talk to you and me and have a personal relationship with me. That's just incredulous and prideful and lacking in humility, okay? Why would that God care, okay? You're imagining God and creating God in your own image. You just want this person that cares for you. You want this imaginary friend that always has wisdom. You want this imaginary friend that's going to get you past death. And the wishful thinking is really, really hard to get past. And so I don't think, because human beings have this, bottomless pit, it seems, of wishful thinking, I don't think religious belief is going anywhere. What I would like to see, though, is the attitude of religious people say, well, yeah, I can understand why somebody would become an atheist. I can understand why, the reasons for the existence of God are kind of shaky. I have faith, but, I can understand why somebody wouldn't. Until somebody can start to develop that attitude, and we see more and more people develop that attitude, that's what the aim is. I'm not trying to get rid of religion, because I know that's as a Stoic, I'm like, well, what can I do? Well, I can influence people to stop being such dicks to atheists, because that's what you're doing. You're being jerks. And instead of, giving good reasoned responses and good compassionate responses, what you do is the constant ad hominem, no true Scotsman, your arguments are fallacious but never prove it, the constant attacking of my motivations of why I do what I do. That's not productive. And it's wrong. Okay? It's just straight up wrong. So I guess that's my thoughts for the week. That's been kind of my frustration, so forgive the rant and the vent, but that's kind of where I'm at. A couple other things. Some of you may have noticed already, but I made some membership changes. I added 2 levels of membership, a lower one and a higher one, and I've changed the names of things. So now all it requires to be a citizen of the Rabyd Nation is $2 a month. So that level of membership is there. So if you've been, I don't know if I want to pay $4. I don't know if I can afford that. I want to support other atheist channels, and so that seems a little high. Okay, fine. So there's a $2 membership, and that is the new citizen level. Okay, that's all it takes, $2 a month to be a citizen of the Rabyd Nation. And then $4 is now Rabyd Citizens. So they used to be citizens, but now you're Rabyd Citizens. Congratulations. Your extra support has pushed you to the Rabyd level. And then I changed Rabyd Citizens to Tribunes. I'm kind of using a Roman Empire theme a little bit. But Tribunes are now what used to be Rabyd Citizens. And the big thing there is you are now guaranteed moderator powers, provided you don't abuse them, from Tribune and on up, okay? Because the reason I'm doing that is I figure you're investing enough money at this point in me and the channel that, you should have some means by which to defend yourself against some pretty nasty theists that come around here. It's just... Some of the times, some of the things I've had to deal with has been pretty disgusting. So, especially recently, I think I'm going to say it, and Jim Bob's followers can piss on it all the time. But there's this attitude that a lot of his followers have that they think that they're doing Christ's work by being a dick, and so he seems to think that, and that rubs off on the rest of his followers. And so some of them have been coming around. They've been playing polite games, but, not really pushing my rules, but they're still doing it. So I want those of you that are more invested in this channel with your money to have some powers to maintain the atmosphere of the channel. So there's that. And then what used to be Guardians is now Senators. The perk I'm offering there for now, and I want to increase my perks to my members over time, but perk I'm offering for senators and later councils, which are the 2 higher levels, is basically you get to give me a topic of a video. For senators, you get to do this like every 90 days. You get to tell me a topic for a video. I'll research it and put it out. And then for the council, the only real add is it's not every 90 days, it's every 30 days. So every month you can give me a topic for a video and I will do it. And probably it'll be on Rabyd Reflections, where I'll take that topic and talk about it and what I think about it when I reflect on it. So there's that. There's also some programming changes. I'm moving the Wednesday discussion on seeing behind the religious curtain is what it is right now, and I'm moving that to Fridays. And once I'm done with seeing behind the religious curtain, which will probably take place early August, I'll be finished with that series. I'm going to shift, because we are, and I think it's appropriate because we're coming into the political season here in the United States. And I'm going to move Friday's discussion away from deconversion topics in particular and talk more and more about politics and social issues in relationship to atheism and secularism. And then the Bible study is going to still be what they are, but I'm going to start adding more deconversion discussions at the end of every Bible study. So the deconversion talks will still take place. And the reason I'm doing that is to break things up. I need Wednesdays off. I've had the problem of a couple times during premieres of how can I put this? I meet with my therapist every other week on Wednesdays, and there have been times, and I meet with her at 5 o'clock, and I'm done about 5:50, sometimes 5:55, and so I'm jumping right from that into a premiere, and it just feels awkward. I'm not there pre-premiere to talk to people, and it just feels awkward. And that only happens every other week, but I'm also running into the problem that Thursday's reaction videos are kind of a chore. Reaction videos are a little bit, take me longer to develop, and I need days off in front of them. That's why Sunday is off before I do the Monday one. So I'm kind of reprogramming that a little bit. So there'll be a slight shuffle for about 10 weeks, and then I'm doing a programming change on Friday after I get done with seeing behind the religious curtain, which I think will lead to some political discussion. So I may weave that in, some social discussions and political discussions. I'm going to weave that in. A lot of what I'm doing right now from a programming standpoint is thinking about the different things that if I ever get a new computer and I can go live again, what you're going to probably see is me start to shift to maybe a half hour, 45-minute podcast every day, Monday through Friday, with various elements in every single podcast with themes for each day of the week. I want to move to that. And then what I will do is I'll pull footage out of that and make videos out of that. So I don't know. That involves a great amount of time. So I'm going to continue to do what I do. But it's the great frustration for me right now is, one, it's summertime and my hypersensitivity is off the chart because of the heat and the sunlight, and my anxiety is at a high level right now because my nervous system is being overloaded, and that leads to depression from time to time. And I haven't had a lot of experience of anxiety and depression throughout the winter and the spring, but once it got warmer, once it hit temperatures above 70 on a reg, it's like, I hate this, And it's not that I feel overly hot, it's just my nervous system feels overloaded. So I have to maintain my disciplines at this time. In the summer, it's the need for it is even higher than any other time of year. And we're coming into summer, Memorial Weekend is upon us. And so I'm kind of trying to move in that direction. And the programming is going to reflect that, where I take 2 regular breaks on Sunday and Wednesday to kind of break things up into 2 smaller groups. I think that's going to be better for me. And I'm going that direction of being the regular podcast. Someday I hope, the channel's big enough where I can afford to hire somebody to be my engineer and handle some of these technical issues that I don't have the knowledge for. It would be nice to do that. I've had that said before. Boy, it would really be nice to get you on a podcast, regular program kind of thing. And I said, well, yeah, I would love to do that, but it takes time to do that and to do it right. Okay, and like doing an hour podcast, you can sit there and pontificate and be an idiot for an hour, or you can actually have something substantive to say every day. And I'd rather do the latter. So that's kind of my thoughts, and I'm heading that direction. The channel itself now, probably half the ad revenue, when I look at the analytics, is people watching old stuff, and the other half is people watching new stuff. Maybe it's 2/3 the new stuff. But the whole idea of a YouTube channel that's properly run, to me, is getting that passive income. And people say, oh yeah, you are trying to get attention. You're damn right I'm trying to get attention, because some of the things that theists think and do to atheists is downright disgusting, okay? And it needs to be spoken against, okay? I'm just getting on here, being a free speech platform. It's funny because theists will often complain about the rising of the atheist YouTuber, and I'm like, we're still flipping outnumbered, like 5-6 to 1, and your channels are a hell of a lot bigger than ours, on average, I think. And it's because there's less of us and more of you. Okay, I don't know what you're complaining about. You're still way ahead. And, I know we're growing and we're in your rear view now, but it's like, we still have a lot of work to do to overtake, the Christianity of the United States. There's a long way to go with that shit. And I don't know why you people think that this is a done deal. You come on here and you give me crap about it, but it's like, that's the motivation for my channel. Yeah, sure, I'm trying to get noticed. Name me a YouTuber that's smart that isn't. Okay, I don't get that one. But so the channel is changing in its tone and direction, and I have been encouraged to talk about political and social issues many, many, many times over the 4 and almost a half years of this channel now. And my hesitation is always, whenever you express a political or social opinion, somebody always gets pissed off because nobody has the ability to have a discussion about political and social issues anymore without making it personal. It's the same thing with religion. I deal with the religious topics all the time, and it's personal to people when I talk about religion. Nobody knows how to separate their ideas from who they are. I'm not attacking you, I'm attacking your ideas, or I'm presenting an alternative viewpoint. And somehow that's the problem. And everybody takes it personal because, it's like your ideology, your worldview, everything is personal. I don't really take that stuff personal. I can listen to somebody without thinking evil thoughts about them. And I don't know if it's a Gen X thing, like we don't give a shit enough to the point that, yeah, you can say whatever you want. I'm still going to hold my own views. I'm not going to change just because you say something that I consider silly or, but I am going to give you a hearing. I am going to listen to you and hear you out. And, I don't know. So whenever I've thought about doing the political social thing, because Christian nationalism in my country is just over the chart. And it needs to be opposed, and it needs to be talked about and talked against, and more atheists need to do it as we come into the election season here, which is already kind of in full swing because, we don't have an election season that's just 2 months long in the United States. It's got to be 2 years, every flipping time for the president. As soon as the congressional elections are done 2 years ago, time to talk about who's going to be the next president of the United States. I'm like, flipping got 2 years yet. Why do I have to think about this? I don't want to think about it until October of the election here. And I'm taking a real George Carlin stance on this one because I don't like either one of the bastards, and I don't like who the two major candidates are. And I could sit and see already I'm talking stuff that somebody's going to get pissed off about in the comments because they don't understand why somebody would dislike both candidates. Well, you got to vote for one of them. No, I'm done voting for the lesser of two evils. How is voting for evil working out for us so far? I'm fighting for alternatives. I would love to go into a presidential election booth and have 5 alternatives that I all know have a possibility of winning, because then that's a real choice. Okay, so I don't know. It's kind of and whenever you talk about this stuff, people get pissed off. Okay, they just do. And so it's like, you got to do this and you got to fight for this. And it's like, people have been saying that to me now for decades. And you want to know what changes things? Society has to change before any of the politics change. So until society changes, and that's a daily thing, that's a daily ideological battle where people check their social media and go into YouTube and do whatever. And it's just, we've gotten to this point where you can't have a discussion without taking it personal. Well, the stakes are so high. Are they? Are they really that high? Okay, I don't know. But I want to start having those discussions because I think it has a lot to do with deconversion issues. And it has a lot to do with atheist issues and how atheists are treated when they have those discussions. My interest in talking politics and society is, okay, if an atheist stands up and says, the real problem is all of you believe in God, and this is causing your mentality to go certain directions, and are those even legit directions if God doesn't exist? Okay, and how are they treated when they say that? Are they shouted down? Are they marginalized? Is their opinion put in a corner? The fact that it is very difficult in the United States to have a secular representative, senator at the state level in some states is just criminal to me. All because of this demonization and this propagandish attitude towards atheists. And so that's why this channel exists. And so the channel programming is going to start to change, okay, as I continue to think about what does it mean to try to fight to normalize atheism and fight to normalize deconversion to atheism in particular. that these people aren't to be marginalized or looked down or have bigoted behavior towards them, that the bigoted behavior towards the atheist is not polite, it's rude, and it shouldn't be accepted. Tolerating things is always going to be a part of it. I've never understood we can't tolerate that. You're tolerating shit all the time. But acceptance or saying that that's okay is a different matter. It's kind of like, the whole Chiefs kicker issue, the Butler thing. I'm a football fan, although I'm becoming less and less a football fan as the years go by because the game doesn't resemble what I fell in love with many years ago. It's starting to get to the point where rugby more resembles what I fell in love with than whatever the hell this is now. The rules have changed. It's like, are we going to play flag football at some point and things like that? That's my opinion on current NFL. And so you have that issue, but then you have these sports celebrities that get up and have to open their mouth about their social and political views. Now, the guy's talking at a Catholic college, so I'm not really sure that I should be shocked or surprised at what he said, because sooner or later somebody in that college campus was going to give a commencement speech like that. Okay, so that was going to happen. Now, at the same time, I think he has the right to say what he wants to say or hold the viewpoints or whatever he wants to. Welcome to a free society where you're allowed to hold whatever view you want to. I also think that people that object to what he said also have the right to say stuff, and they have the right to their viewpoints and to say what they want to. I think, though, a lot of people want to shut down when other people that disagree with them talk, and that is where I draw the line and say, nope, me and Voltaire are right about that. I think we're on the right standing there. I disagree with everything the guy said, but I would defend to the death his right to say it. And you can disagree with that. See, this is the kind of thing I'm going to talk about on Friday eventually. How are you going to react to that? As atheists, would you react to that? If you understand that all I'm really trying to do is normalize the discussion that when an atheist talks, oh, he's an atheist, so I don't have to listen to what he has to say. That needs to stop. Okay? And it's that issue that's the issue to me. So I've probably rambled on a little bit too long on that one. So there's that one, that programming change. The Deconverters Bible Study is what I'm going to start calling Tuesdays. And slowly I'm already kind of doing that, putting deconversion talk in the end of it. It'll turn into a Bible study / deconversion discussion every Tuesday. And I love doing those videos. It's just, I'm trying to space things out, get things better for me in this wonderful summertime. And so you guys have to kind of deal with programming changes all the time anyway. But, that's the aim. That's the goal. Financial issues are always in front of me. I'm really debating with myself because I have a lot of needs for my car. I really want to get a new computer to replace this thing that I'm working with. And I'm debating with myself of whether to just go to my bank, take out a loan, pay off my car, which doesn't have a lot, like a year and a half left on it, and, grab enough money there to fix it all up, get all the maintenance issues done, and buy a computer, and then just owe my bank money, and then make my payment on the 23rd of every month right after I get paid by Google. So you guys would be paying off the payment there. But it's that kind of, am I now trusting in this income to be regular? And that's something I've tried to avoid. This is a nice bonus. Let's look at it as a bonus. And work with what I do on the rag. And I don't know, there are days I get a lot of anxiety about my money. So it's been I was glad to hear like R and Ra. I don't even remember what video it was, but he mentioned that I've always had struggles with money, and I'm like, hey, me too. So I'm just not naturally good with it, and I've trained myself to be better and be minimalist about it and do all this other stuff that helps it go a little bit farther, but I'm just not good with it, And in fact, this is kind of, the whole YouTube thing was kind of the venturing into, how do I get this passive income thing? How do I get this side hustle thing where I'm getting some more money that helps me out? How do I get this second thing that I can do? maybe a third thing in writing, kind of heading that direction. And so it's the first time I've really gone into a four-way like this where I'm like, oh, I'm making money doing videos, and I make money just by people watching them. Weird. It's just a weird sensation. So that's why all your super thanks, super likes, all that stuff is very greatly appreciated. My members are greatly appreciated. The people that watch my videos, even you theists, you're appreciated. Thank you. It helps me out. So thank you very much. I think that's about it. So yeah, thanks for every like and share and subscribe. And I want to give a shout out to all my members, to the Rabyd citizens and the Tribunes right now. Thank you very much. You guys make this videos and this stuff worth it. Helps me not to worry so much about the YouTube algorithm and more about doing the content I like to do and enjoy. And you guys help with that, so thank you very much. And as always, live your best life. You only get one go around and then it's over. And then so you want to take all your time, money, and opportunities and engage them in building up yourself and the relationships that you have with the people you love and care for, and to make this a better world. And don't waste it on the trappings of religion and faith. That's a dead end. I speak from experience. And as always, thanks for stopping by, and I'll catch you next time.